All right, everybody. Welcome to the next episode of Pixel Autopsy. This week we have a controversial topic. I'm reviewing Silksong, okay? So let's dig in, baby. I'm going to step back a little bit because some people aren't familiar with Hollow Knight. Some people aren't familiar with these mechanics. I am a strong proponent that Hollow Knight is average at best. And it really is, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper, it really is what I like to call a competent game in the way that it's built well as a product. You know, all the buttons work, it's snappy, it's responsive, there's no real jank, right? It works. Everything it does works. It doesn't feel sloppy. It feels very well made, but none of the design decisions are fun, interesting, or unique. And we're not going to touch too much on Hollow Knight, but you'll hear what I'm talking about when we get into it. But I need to preface that a little bit for this, because a lot of the stuff in Silksong is identical to Hollow Knight, which I feel was already outdated and not innovative when it came out. They use the Dark Souls respawn mechanic, right? When you die, you go back to your most recent bench used. The benches are the stand-in for a bonfire. And then the location of your death, instead of having your souls or whatever, it has a silk web that you have to destroy. You get your money back. This web, unfortunately, so the system, that Dark Souls system is already kind of shitty. Again, Dark Souls came out in 2012, 2011. It's almost 15 years old at this point. You know, it was old when, you know, it was already 5 years old when Hollow Knight came out, and they had copied that system exactly. And this is what I was talking about to start it. And then this is the exact same system. Nothing has changed. I mean, in Hollow Knight, it was actually a little bit more interesting because when you died, it left like a copy of yourself that you had to actually attack and kill to get your stuff back. And it didn't attack you. It just floated towards you. So it wasn't very difficult, but it was still like challenging. It had their own spin on it. This one is literally just you don't even pick it up. It's a web in the air, and you attack it, and you get some of your magic points back, which is silk in this game, but that's about it. Again, I had problems where like you have to do these advanced platforming mechanics in this game, and then if you want to get the web back, it just is in the middle of the air, and I'm like, this is just annoying to get, right? It just adds a problem because of what I'm about to talk about. So I already hate this system. I already can't stand this system. In Dark Souls, it was okay when it first came out. It was different. It was unique. It's really ingrained in that system. And I think the reason it works in Dark Souls is because they have a lot of things surrounding the game to support why that system works and other things you can do to mitigate it. In this, early on, when you have no upgrades and everything does a lot of damage to you, it absolutely disincentivizes travel. I've entered a room with, you go into a new area, there's an up way and a down way. There's an up-down fork. I go up, I travel 5, 6, 7 rooms, and I die. I go back to the bench, I enter the fork again. I'm not going to go down. I need to get my stuff. I'm at a severe loss if I don't get all my money back, right? If I don't get that stuff back, and I'm already traveling that way, why would I go somewhere else and then risk not getting it when I already died going the way I went? So you either get it and succeed to the next area and then backtrack to the fork to see what's there. And then later on, when you're powerful and don't need to get your money back, then the system is entirely pointless. Who cares if I lose it when there's nothing worthwhile left to buy, or I don't need money really anymore, right? It's a system that starts out awful and then becomes obsolete. And that's one thing that's just reused entirely from Hollow Knight. Now, this one is my biggest gripe of the game, honestly. I can't stand this. It's the same exact map system. You enter each area with no map. You must buy each one with money, like that you can lose when you die here. You must use and equip to see yourself on the map, and you have to buy markers from a shop to enhance the map with shop locations, fast travel locations. This is archaic. It's already a bad and unfun system to have to not have a map. And then you add in the difficulty at the start of the game. You add in constantly losing your money with the Dark Souls respawn system. And it makes it an absolute slog to make progress. And this is, again, not to say, like, it doesn't guide you. The map design is not working well with this. There's no synergy. So you could go in, find a fork, go up, the map was down, and then you just check an entire area and you never get the map for it, or it takes forever to get the map for it because you explored the wrong way down a fork. there's nothing you could do. Like, if you go into a room and there's an up and there's a down, which way do you go? There's no way to, like, incentivize you to go one way, or doesn't, like, force you to go one way to get it. There were several times I didn't have, like, I got to a bench and you had to unlock them with money, and I just didn't have any money. So there was several times when I got to an area and there's a fast travel station and I didn't have money to get it, or both. There's a really difficult area in the game called Bile Water, where if you land in the water in these sections, a bunch of slugs prevent you from healing, and they slowly deplete your silk. So I got through a hard part of this section, and I didn't have enough money because I died several times, and to buy the new save point, the bench, or the fast travel system. What is the point of this? Again, it de-incentivizes exploration again, and it de-incentivizes combat in a way, or worse, promotes very slow, tedious combat, which is sort of the entire idea of the game. It's avoid taking damage at all costs, or you won't have enough money to have a save zone, and fast travel. And then this is paired with another thing that I can't stand: the flying enemies. It's a horribly unfun design. They either read your inputs, which I'm convinced they do, or are programmed this way, which is to run away from you. It's impossible to reach if they're, like, high enough. I've had them be where they're directly above me and I can't reach them. And there's really nothing you could do about it. You just have to wait for them to float down. That's not fun. Most of the times you face them, though, the map is designed so weird. Everywhere this happens. You're on a small platform. It's either, like, high up in the air in a platforming section, or on the ground next to unsafe areas on both sides, like spikes. I mean, the quickest way I found to defeat them in this scenario is to, like, when you're trapped on a ledge, is to walk away and, like, face away from them, and it makes them come towards you. Then you have to dodge their attack, turn around quickly, get one hit in, and then the hit pushes them back, and you have to do this all again. I'm going to post a clip. I'm going to post clips along with this. There is an enemy where this happened, and I have a clip of it, and I'm like, this is what I'm talking about when I say this game is not fun and it's not designed well. You jump over, not spikes, but they're like sandworms that eat you, so you can't touch it. It's unstable ground. You can't touch it. It'll damage you and send you back to a safer area. Then there's a small platform to land on. When you land on it, a flying enemy spawns that shoots a red cone out of its nose that bounces off the ground. It took me almost like 20 or more seconds to kill this guy, because I would have to go to the left side of the tiny platform, bait him in, and then jump in and get one hit. Sometimes, like, if I was just face the end of the platform I was on, they do not approach you. I would jump up and try and hit, and he just would not come close to me. I just have to stand there and dodge their attacks. And I was like, sure, you could jump, dash into him, but, like, I don't have all these abilities yet where you could dash in and dash back. So it's like, you can't really do, like, super air combat, or he's high up in the air. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, just attack him and use your abilities or whatever, or just run past. It's like, I want to fight the enemies. What's the point of running past all of them? Plus, for a lot of things, you need to get money to progress, so I have to kill as many enemies as I can. Several flying enemies on top of this can take, like, many hits. In the video I'm going to attach of this area that's in the blasted steps, this guy takes, like, 4 hits, and I had a weapon upgrade at the time already. It's crazy. Okay. Again, we get right into it. Quests. Just what the fucking Hollow Knight community was clamoring for. MMO-style fetch quests. This game was in development for 7 years for this groundbreaking edition from 20 plus years ago. To get a mandatory upgrade, I have to go collect 25 monster parts. I'd rather eat a fucking poop smoothie. This one is especially egregious, where you have to get the cloak that lets you fly up on the air pockets. The monster shoots spines out of its body, and then they stick into the walls and ground, and you have to attack the spines to turn them into collectible items. I know what you're thinking, because I am. Finally, a developer that listens to its fans. We've been chomping at the bit for the type of riveting gameplay in Hollow Knight of collect 25 things in the next room and then bring it back to me. What the fuck is this shit? I can't believe people like this. I don't want to do a single quest. There's basically like no quest. These are like straight up, you go to a quest board and pick out a quest, and they're all just kill 10 bugs, collect 20 items from these bugs. This shit fucking sucks. It's always been bad. These are boring, nothing quests. I don't know why they added this. It's pointless filler. It's like, I'm killing the bugs anyway. like when I'm going out, but now I have to go back and kill these ones specifically in like a tedious manner. It's not fun. Like when you kill enemies as you're progressing and you're getting loot for it on the way to go somewhere, that's enjoyable. Cause I'm like, but like going into a room and being like, oh, I only have 10. Fuck, I need 11 more of these things. Where can I find more of these enemies? I guess I'll rest and come back and kill it again. That shit sucks. It's tedious. It's a grind. They added a grind. It doesn't make any sense. Now, tools. So this is where we're finally starting to get into like stuff that's just not repeated garbage, right? I mean, quests are not repeated, but they're garbage. So the tools are bad for multiple reasons, but at least I guess they're trying something. But I don't know. Again, you're in development for 7 years. This is what you come up with. The tools you get require a different system of currency to replenish than your money, which is rosaries, making them annoying to use, and again, making exploration worse, and I'll explain why. You make your way into a hidden section. You break down a hidden wall. You're excited. You get to the very long end of 3 or 4 areas of jumping over spikes, avoiding traps. And guess what you find? Wow, tool shards. Great. I can replenish my tools now next time I die. It's a pure downgrade from Hollow Knight. You had a spell, a forward spell in Hollow Knight, up spell, down spell, healing, all tied to your soul in there. And this one, it would be Silk. At the time, I had like 7 tools in my collection. They were either like rip-offs of Hollow Knight and like more annoying to replenish, like than just hitting enemies and getting your soul back, which is fun, or completely useless. If I didn't want to use a spell in Hollow Knight, the idea was like I would have more energy to use on the ones I liked or for healing. If a tool sucks in Silksong, it's just like I just get shards as a reward, and then it feels like I got no reward at all. I was exploring and questing, and then I get shards. I get to the end of the thing, I get an enemy drops an item. Oh, cool, what is this? Beast shards. Oh, it's just shards in my inventory for if I run out of shards, I have more shards. Great, now I'm doing fucking item collection like crazy. The one tool is like a spear that you lob in a weird arc. Why would I waste my shards throwing it? It can miss entirely. The first and the starting tool you get is just the dagger from Castlevania. Enemies can parry it. Tons of enemies have shields that just block it. What the fuck were they thinking? Again, none of this makes sense. I don't understand how people were having fun with this. These tools feel like ass. I don't want to use tools. Like, I was saying, I don't think Hollow Knight is that good, but it is miles better in combat than this. You just slash or use a spell, and you beat the piss out of an enemy. You can upgrade your spells in really cool ways. I get a fucking tool in this. And again, this is where it like bogs down the loot pool, I guess you would say. When you're exploring in Hollow Knight 1, at least when you get something, you're like, oh, this is fucking dope. Like that's what it should be. You explore and you get something fun. A really cool power-up, a movement ability, something to upgrade my weapon, something fun, right? Or just money. In this one, it's like, oh, I explore, I get shards. I get a beast shard. I find a new tool. Oh, this tool is worse than the one I have. Okay, so that exploration meant nothing. This new item means nothing. It feels like shit. I just keep on doing the same even though I explored all this new stuff. Now, this is where people are going to disagree with me, but you can't prove me wrong. Go ahead and try and refute what I'm saying. You can't. And get ready for this one. The crest system. You guys know the crest system? You can get... The crest system is just charms, but worse. I was several hours in the first time I found a crest. It changes your regular attack, your dash attack, your downward strike. But this time I was already used to the main one. And you have to use memory lockets to unlock new spots to use equipment on these. So like each crest can use a tool, your silk ability, and then like some other thing. I don't know what the slots are called. There's like 2 other slots. A tool, like a defensive thing, a silk ability, and something else, right? And you can unlock more slots on there to have a couple, but you have to use a memory locket. So again, this is just charm notches, which again, charm notches were dope because it was a very simple system. You just built out charms. And it was honestly a really cool system because, you had to, do I have enough charm notches? Which ones do I want to use? Which ones don't I want to use? But you could also overcharm, which was a fun thing, where you can equip too many charms and you would like take more damage or something. I don't even remember what worked, but you could overcharm. It was like a fun, interesting system. And this is just exactly the same system, but worse. So it's like I had no incentive to use a new crest. I had been getting used to Hornet's main abilities in the Hunter crest for hours, Then I got a new one, the Reaper one, and I'm like, I don't want to use this, except I was like, it doesn't promote, experimentation because I don't want to die. Like the main crest has a 45-degree angled downward strike, and then except I get the Reaper one and it has like a regular normal downwards they have to use for pogo. And so now I'm in this annoying thing where I want to have Reaper on all the time if I'm getting to a pogo section. So I would like legit find a bench and then be like, oh, I'm pogo, I have to switch to Reaper. I don't like it, but it's easier to pogo this way. And then switch back to Hunter because I like it and I've been using him. Now I'm like switching between these two things. I'm like playing worse because they expect you to play very well. I'm switching between these Hunter crests that they have different equips, and one of them doesn't have enough memory on like lockets to unlock everything. I was like, this fucking sucks. This feels like work. I don't want to have to go with multiple attack things. Like, who asked for this? And then at one point, now this is the craziest thing, they put in the Wanderer crest, which is just the moveset from Hollow Knight. Really inspired stuff here. And the crazy thing is, I used it the whole time. It's super fast. I'm used to it. I have dozens of hours in Hollow Knight. I just liked it a lot more, and I used that one. I was like, why would I not use the one that I'm used to? You didn't make the new ones cooler than the old one, and you put the old one in. Dude, like, it just sucks. People in Hollow Knight where they're going like, oh yeah, I don't know what crest to use. This one's good. Like, no, there's no like there's this weird divisive stuff that they're putting in. Like, I don't know. They were like, oh, more is better, quantity over quality. I don't really fucking get it. Now we're gonna get to the real meat and potatoes. Everyone online is complaining about the difficulty. The typical complaint, oh, 2 ticks of damage is too much. But they don't discuss why, okay? Difficulty can be fun. That's the whole thing, overcoming the challenge of it, right? Part of the enjoyment of the games is overcoming a challenge. You heal yourself for 3 ticks in this game, but you have to use your entire starting silk bar to do so, right? Now, my biggest problem with the 2 damage, I don't really care that much. But when a majority of things do 2 damage from the start, then, they're all essentially the same enemy, right? The interesting thing about Hollow Knight was it was rare. It was far more rare than this game. But when it happened, it was like, oh, this is a tough guy. He's a beast. He's laying the work on me, right? But then in this one, there's a precedent set that like enemies that do 1 tick are trash, 2 are common, which makes them all a threat. So everything's a fucking boss level threat all of a sudden. And then there's like enemies, traps, spikes that can hit you for 2. You're encountering loads of them. But the economy doesn't really balance out. You can only heal 3 every like 9 weapon hits or so. So if you hit a pit of spikes and then get hit by an enemy and then heal, and then you get hit again, it's just saying like you cannot get hit because now I can't heal. Right? I've taken 2 more hits of damage. It's like very punishing for the early game. I'll get into that too. But it makes it so you have to play like a super high focus the entire time, which again isn't bad in itself. For extended sections, you have to fight through large areas of high damaging enemies and tight platforming, and then you find a boss. The boss obviously must be more of a challenge than the random mobs, so like all of their stuff does 2 damage as well, but then they also make them very fast. They have a bunch of attacks, and often, they have a second phase or a power-up phase, and then you have a long run back to go back to them when you die. On top of that, like, enemies can parry, enemies can block and have shield, they can deflect your tools. You often have to fight several of these enemies at the same time. And then this is a melee game, so you have to get close to the enemy. It's very easy to accidentally run into them because they're moving, you're moving, they're very quick. It's simply horribly unfun to punish me for going half a step too far on my downwards dive. The attack part of it ends right before I hit the enemy, and then I walk into them and take 2 points of damage, especially in a game where bosses and sometimes enemies are lightning quick. It's overly punishing in the beginning, okay? It's just like a slog, and I'll get into this deeper again. A lot of stuff we're going to touch on a little bit deeper as we go, but like right off the bat, they don't give you really anything easy, and I don't understand why. It's okay to ramp up to a little bit harder stuff. Let me get my bearings, okay? Additionally, the new tools you get are finite. I talked about this. But you have a set amount you can use as well. So like even if it's not like you can use them infinitely. They have the shard system, but they also have uses. So it's not like Dark Souls where like you can use it 12 times and you have to just replenish it at a bench for free. When you use your tools, you would pretty much every boss in the beginning, because they're pretty difficult. You only start with 5 ticks of health. I would use the tools in the fight, lose, and then I have to spend my shards to replenish my tools. After losing several times to the boss, while I would learn its patterns, I run out of shards entirely. Now my options are to go and farm shards, boring, or fight the boss without the use of my tools, which is annoying and stupid. It's like, what a weird system, right? In Hollow Knight, you use that same energy bar I was talking about. You're just balancing between, do I take a risk and heal, or do I spend this to do big damage quickly, potentially ending the fight sooner, but I can't get hit, right? That exists here as well, except for you can only have one spell equipped at once, and since so many things do 2 damage, like, you're just opting for healing more. But, like, unless you're fucking perfect at the game, but if you are, who gives a shit? This isn't for you, right? And no one is, like, this good, especially at the beginning. Tons of people get hit. Everyone who played this game died. No one did it hitless, deathless first try, okay? So shut up. So you're opting for healing more often than not. It's simply not fun to farm shards. I'm not farming shit. I already don't want to farm fucking rosaries. Now you're going to tell me I have to go and farm shards? So then I just bang my head against the wall and fight the boss without tools. I'm like, okay, so this fucking sucks. I just don't get to use this thing in the game because the alternative is you either don't die, which defeats the purpose of having them because, right, if I didn't, like, then I would just use them and I wouldn't die and it wouldn't matter. So then if you do die, you know, I have to go farm to get them back. So this fucking sucks. The system doesn't make any sense, right? What's the point of adding in this system to do it? Why not just have me be the single use the same way they are, but not have to replenish them? Just get free replenish at a bench. I don't get it. You essentially have to play perfect anyway, so they make it easier if you're playing well and make it annoying if you aren't. When a game tasks you with playing perfectly, it needs to be flawless, right? In order to make that experience fun. But it's not flawless. I'm just listing off flaws. On top of all that, on top of all this shit I've been saying so far, once you get about 60% of the way through the game, this all goes away. So you start off with 5 mask shards, right? Or 5 mask pieces, 5 hits. Once I got to about 7, 8, I'm able to tank a bunch more hits, even if they do 2 per damage. So the bosses, I don't think, ever do 3 hits, right? So they set this precedent where, like, 1 hits is crappy, like I said, 2 is standard. But then, like, no boss ever goes up to 3. So there's never, like, this bam, super powerful hits. Like, what are you scared of? You already set everything for 2. You're not going to have anyone do fucking 3 hits of damage. Unless I didn't even notice, but, like, later on, again, I'll explain why. So the early ones, this whole early game ends up being harder than the later bosses because you have better tools and more health. I'm like, this fucking sucks. The bosses are designed like shit, so they're not, like, a challenge because they're, like, it's like a fun fight. They're designed horribly, right? They're hard in the beginning because you start with nothing and they do a ton of damage. In the start of the game, you can't make a mistake because you'll die quickly. At the end, I could take way more hits. I didn't need to be as precise. Nice job. You blast through the fucking back half of the game without a challenge because it was front-loaded with diarrhea. I first tried the last boss 2 times because I got the regular ending and then I went back, did the second part of the ending, and beat the, well, not the final boss, but spoilers, Grandmother Silk. First try, killed her. Did the stuff to come back. Second try, killed her. I was like, you have so many masks. She's not that difficult. You could tank more hits. You have a bunch more abilities. You could heal faster, whatever. Excuse me. It makes no sense, okay? And again, the bosses aren't designed in a fun way. They're all, like, super quick. They don't really telegraph their moves, like, with enough reaction time. Like, a lot of them, the fun part of, like, the combat of, like, a Metroidvania, if you think about something like a Metroid game, is you're shooting your blaster at them non-stop. You're like, you're always peppering off shots while also dodging the stuff that they're shooting at you. And that's, like, a fun thing. And then also you're trying to sneak in, when can I get a missile off? When can I get my fine ice stuff off? It makes it deeper. And then in this one, it's, you don't get to hit it a lot. A lot of the bosses are like, he does an attack or a attack with a follow-up attack or a big AoE damage, or they jump at you, which if they hit you, you take a bunch of damage. So it's like, sometimes I'll dodge 2 or 3 attacks, get 1 hit, maybe 2, and then I have to go away. I think of the Last Judge specifically because they're a very big barrier to Act 2. There's a long run back. You're in the beginning of the game. You don't have a lot of upgrades. There was legit points where I remember they would use an attack and I would get one hit. And if I didn't dash out after that one hit, they would follow up with a AoE around them and you would get hit by it. I would try and get two. You can't. It's insane. Like, what the fuck is the fun of that? That's what I'm saying. You have to build fun bosses, which are, again, it's difficult to do. But I think a lot of the Hollow Knight bosses were way more fun. I can't think of a single fun boss that was like in Hollow Knight. Maybe the Sister Splinter was cool. That was interesting. You got to beat the shit out of her a bunch while you were trying to avoid enemies and the stuff she put down, like the walls of spikes that you had to destroy. And she had like big telegraphed hits. Like, that was fun. That was an interesting and fun boss. It took me a couple tries still, but I didn't feel like shit when I was fighting it. A lot of these bosses are fucked up, and I'll get into that in a second again too. We're going to go into all of my complaints, and then we'll go a little deeper. Now, people, this is also another thing that I fucking can't stand. I wish this was not in the game at all. The lore, okay? Don't get me started on this fucking dog shit. The lore is virtually non-existent. Anyone that tells you otherwise is a straight-up psychopath, okay? You'll explore into a deep crevice. You find a plaque to inspect, a shining white plaque. It'll read, flickering flame, 5 masks, swirled soul, brought and broiled, 4 stones, rage-baked, crushed powder coarse, 3 shells, fresh from pilgrims fallen, to contain and age. That's verbatim. I wrote that down from one that I saw. Some guy on Twitter will post a picture of this with 600 crying emojis, and everyone will collectively pretend to know what this means. This is not fucking lore. You have to find 100 of these across the whole game, plus every piece of dialogue with every character ever, then take leaps of faith to make a story. It's told in these obscure, boring excerpts, 3 sentences at a time. A story is not told in riddles along a fucking scavenger hunt. This game gets praised for this drivel, and it's utter garbage, and also a ripoff of Dark Souls. It was bad then, and it's bad now. Learn a book. Jesus Christ, pisses me the F off. The bounce platforming is just annoying, okay? It's barely worth talking about. We're going to gloss over this. They changed a very forgiving and easy pogo system that I don't think is actually required to do a single time to complete the regular story of Hollow Knight at all into an arbitrarily precise, required, and highly punishing slog. Everyone who plays this game changes off the main Hunter Crest to Reaper or Wanderer so they can pogo better, which I was talking about earlier, and all the pogoing is so prevalent in the game, you might as well have called this game fucking Bounce Night. I love when I have to use equipment because I don't like it, because it makes platforming easier, because they make the platforming section needlessly punishing. Another fun success. There are long sections of this game as well. They have to be completed in the dark, in tunnel systems with dark art in the foreground blocking your view. For a game that demands precision, it goes out of its way to put you in scenarios that are not enjoyable. I'm not kidding. There are dozens of areas. They do this thing, every hidden wall, every secret tube and tunnel you're going into. There are dozens of areas with tiny tunnels where you can't see in front of you because it's so dark. Gamers famously love playing in dark areas where you can't see shit. Another revolutionary design. And again, this is highly reused. There's so many sections where you break a wall. Again, there's an insane amount of hidden breakable walls that are like required in this game. And then you find it, and you're going through a super tight tunnel. There's monsters in there. I was like, this is not fun to do. Rosaries have the same currency problem that they had in Hollow Knight, but increased. They make rosaries, which is this game's currency, which is the geo, I guess, of Hollow Knight. Infrequent, limited drops, lost on death without retrieving your web. You might say, oh, they added rosary strings so you can turn your rosaries into strings and not lose them on death. What the fuck for? Now I have to worry about money management like an investment banker when instead I want to explore this weird world and stab bugs with my sword, okay? Also, they have a few locations only where you can do this. So you can either continue adventuring and having fun and not worrying about managing your money and playing the actual game, or constantly fast travel back to a town to make rosary beads in case you die, which you will die because it's very difficult. Fun. Another fun system we just killed. Another one that's more important is when you lose rosaries, you lose them when you convert them into strings, right? 20 per conversion. So you can convert from 140 rosaries into a 120 unlosable item in your inventory, or from 80 to 60, right? So best case scenario, say you have exactly 560 rosaries to convert. You lose 80 in that conversion. You're losing money for playing smart and saving money. What the fuck is the incentive here? Why is that in the game? You lose money for putting them in your inventory to save them? Like, why is this a thing? This is so fucking stupid. Then, like other problems, just like Hollow Knight, it becomes completely non-existent at the end. You get further into the game, and if you've been utilizing the system they put in, you need less and less rosaries because you're buying everything that you need in the beginning, and then you end up with 500 plus in rosary beads in your inventory at all times and 200 plus on your person with nothing to buy. So there are required things or valuable things you can buy, but there's also stuff that's like a lot of this stuff, the tools, it'd be like, or the equipment for your crest, it'd be like, oh, you regenerate silk when you get hit. I was like, this fucking sucks. This is not fun. This is like barely better than when you get a new item in a stupid looter RPG and it's like plus 5% damage to the undead. I was like, this is bullshit. I want serious, tangible differences to my stuff. I want it to feel fun to use, right? It's like, I don't want to buy some bullshit that it feels like nothing at all, right? Enemies, like I said before, even not the flying ones, are horribly designed. You know, they don't really give you a lot of time to react. And I'm going to put gameplay in here. I'm going to put gameplay behind this. You guys can watch what I'm talking about from my playthroughs verbatim and compare it to what I'm saying, and you're not going to have any fucking rebuttal, okay? You can see, like, in the gameplay I'm going to put, there's a section where there's, like, a floating green bug that spits green goo, like neon green. It charges up at one point. So I jump to dodge the attack, and then it shoots it directly at me in the air very quickly. It's not reactable. I was like, did I jump too soon? It charged up. I thought it would shoot where I was at, then I can dodge the shot. I was like, this is fucking insane. They require, again, an insane amount of precision. For what? Again, and it's not fun because this enemy like runs away from you. It's another example of poor design, manufactured difficulty. There's the video of me I'm going to put in fighting that bug I talked about, the red-nosed bug in the Blasted Steppes. He spawns when you're landing on a tiny platform, shoots you from afar, doesn't approach you unless you move away. This is all flying creatures, by the way. And there's deadly ground you can't touch on either side. I was out of shards from dying to the boss. It took me 20 seconds to kill that guy. It's like they think tedious bullshit is good gameplay. Gag me with a spoon. There's clips of me that I'm going to put to, again, it's not High Halls, it's the other one, part of the Citadel. I'm dashing towards a flying enemy, and they move back like the distance of my dash. What the fuck is the point of making an enemy that I can't approach? If anything, it limits your playstyle even more. I want to swing my fucking sword. They're forcing me to use the bullshit tools, right? Or the claw line that you get. It takes away my agency. It makes all the fights static. What's the point of putting in multiple options in the game if you design the enemies to be so distant that you have to kill them with ranged stuff, right? Talk about linear. Everyone has to fight this guy the same way then. Or, so either do the thing I was talking about where you lure it to you by standing still, which takes fucking forever, or you fight it the other way where you just dash into it, which is still, again, you take damage and you jump into people, they throw stuff at you. So it's like using the claw line to get there or the range stuff. Like there's a ton of enemies. You've run out of tools. It doesn't even make fucking sense. It's also glitchy. I'm going to post another clip. There's required platforming sections over like spinning saw blades. Multiple times I hit the blades with my downward slash. You can see it. You can hear it connect. But I've either fallen all the way through the saw blade or I hit it on top still, and I take damage anyway. It happens multiple times on multiple spikes things across a long 30 hours that I played the game, okay? 35 hours or something like that. Combine this with the damage you take from them, and that like it resets your position, it's completely absurd. What an insanely stupid fucking glitch. Once again, a game requires perfection, but isn't programmed to perfection. There's another one that I'm going to include that's like the boss fight with Vengefly or something. It's the one where it's like on the lava section. It's the second fight with it. It spawns another dude who shoots lava rocks at you. So you're like on a platform and he will like slam his head into the ground and make them disappear, and there's dangerous lava underneath you. And then he spawns an enemy that shoots stuff at you from afar, and it's this you have to play perfect mantra. I was dodging the boss, but in dodging the boss that's destroying the ground from underneath me and making dangerous lava, I'm getting hit by the range attacks of this spawned enemy. How am I supposed to dodge this? It requires either a ridiculous level of effort, dumb luck, or, again, playing absolutely perfectly, having knowledge of this beforehand, right? When you come into this the first time and they spawn that enemy, you don't know, oh, if I don't kill him instantly, they're going to double team me, but sometimes it's not even possible to kill it instantly because the boss is moving left to right. It's not, and the enemies are flying, so they run away from you. It's not as easy as they make it seem. Or again, you have to be absolutely perfect. It's not balanced. It's not fun. It's not engaging. They throw a bunch of things at you at once for no real reason. Another thing happens with the Wraith enemy in the mist. The way I encountered her, she moved back when I approached, or she was too far off the side to reach when I was standing at the very far end of it. She attacks very frequently, so I had to be ready. And her pattern is like she dives back and forth. So I have to time my jumping down slash perfectly, or I can't get a hit in on her. It's difficult to time. I messed up once by jumping slightly early. She caught me in her grab, damaged me. When she released me, I fell off the area, which respawns you to the start of the area. Fucking game of the year. Yeah, this is fun combat. You can try blaming it on me, but look at how long this fight takes. Look what happens. Like, tell me what I'm supposed to do. You can't. Again, whether or not the tools are there, it's like I have to spam my tools for every one of these ladies. I already explained a million reasons why you could be out of tools, and I'm not going to go fucking farming for them because that's not fun in itself. You mess up one time, she catches you, you fall off the thing. You have to be perfect. It's fucking annoying. Now we're going to get to something that I've been desperately waiting to talk about. Recycled content. You guys are going to lose your minds. I can't believe no one else is saying this. Everybody online is just saying, it's too difficult. The difficulty, the 2 hits. There's a million other things wrong with this game. Finally, recycled content, okay? It's not one for one in some of these, but you can tell they were inspired by their own creation, which is insipid. There's like even from something like this, in the setting, there's a foresty section right in the beginning, the moss area or whatever. It just feels like Green Path. It's barely different. Those sandworms in the ground I was talking about earlier, they pop up as you get near them. Feels much like the Abyss Black Goo Trap, which, surprise, again, another spoiler, when you get to Act 3, you just go to the Abyss. Whether or not it's the same Abyss from Hollow Knight 1 or not, it looks and acts just like it and the same enemies there. And this black goo trap that like springs up, it's interesting in Hollow Knight. Again, you're walking over a black puddle and you jump over it, and as you jump over it, enemies like claws reach out of it. It's an interesting thematic choice. They do the same thing with the fucking sandworms in this game. It's an identical thing. The worms that travel up and down the wormways are just the fucking tunnel bugs from Deep Nest. The fleas in this game are just grubs from Hollow Knight. Grandmother Silk looks and fights just like Radiance. You're going to tell me that those pins that she's doing when she makes 3 of them fly left and 3 of them fly right, and you have to go through the middle is not the exact same thing, almost down to like the way the pins look that Radiance does. It's lazy. The Phantom boss has the same moves as Hornet 1 from Hollow Knight, almost exactly. So does just like some regular ant in the game. I don't know if they've reused exact animations, but like some enemies act identical to Hollow Knight. Enemies in like just in their attack patterns. This is the thing that like Hollow Knight did too. Enemies like big fat bugs will like jump and swing an overhead mallet at you. It was already getting tired in the first one. It's so overdone by the time they do it here. I'm fucking sick of it. The fast travel system in this game is a weird lizard instead of a stag. It's actually worse because there's 2 fast travel systems. You can't take the lizard directly anywhere in the Citadel except for the Grand Bellway. So you have to travel to the Grand Bellway first and then go over to the tube fast travel system and take that. For a game that requires a ton of backtracking and exploring, it fucking sucks. And it's just a copy of the fast travel from the first game. I don't get it. For upgrades, baby. Let's talk about game upgrades. You love this. You're playing a Metroidvania, right? You're like, when am I going to get a higher jump? When am I going to get this? When am I going to get that? I can't fucking wait to get super cool upgrades I can't wait to use. Check it out, dude. You're going to love it. Upgrades, you get a dash. Cool. Identical to Hollow Knight. It's been around forever. Every game has a fucking dash. This eats ass. You get a wall cling, a.k.a. Mantis Claw. It's identical. A double jump. It's identical. An NPC who takes in your collectibles. Identical. A journal of the enemies you fight. The Needle-In is a worse version of the Dream Nail. It does the same stuff lore-wise, where you hear like special messages and shit like that, and you can use it on some enemies to like stun them or whatever, but I don't think you can use it on them to get soul or silk like you could get soul in the first one. You actually hit them with it, which is neat. You just have to stand there and play an instrument. It's also identical to the way that you get the upgraded ending, kind of, like versus the first one, where in Hollow Knight 1, instead of like you kill the Hollow Knight and then the game ends, and then when you come back, you have like when you have all the requirements Hornet holds him down and you use the Dream Nail on him and you fight Radiance instead. In this game, instead of killing the final boss, you use the Needle in to trap them and you get and then you get the other ending, right? You use your special Dream Nail item. Oh, wow. This happens nonstop. It's a fucking direct carbon copy. This sucks. It's so uninspired. Okay? I'm constantly reminded of Hollow Knight, which feels like a better game, which I don't think is that good. The Hollow Knight stuff is all reused anyway. It's a reuse of a reuse, all right? And we're getting fucking double recycled over here, okay? This is insane. They created Hollow Knight from scratch, right? So even when that came out, even if some of the ideas and the stuff was tired and trite at the time, the areas were interesting, unique, inspired, right? The setting, the people, the music, right? It's lazy to have areas, abilities, enemies, and features that mirror or exactly copy things in Hollow Knight. It took them 7 years to invent nothing. It's the same fucking game. Team Cherry in this is the epitome of quantity over quality. To double down on that, probably like it feels like 90% of Queen's Garden in Hollow Knight, if you played it, was at least somewhat annoying. It's like weirdly placed platforms, tons of spikes, platforming, enemies placed in hard locations. It's difficult to get through. Silksong has taken the bold direction of what if every area was Queen's Garden plus White Palace? And what if every enemy was a Primal Aspid or a Stalking Devout? What if every boss was Traitor Lord? Okay, they amped up the sections that were tiresome without realizing why that difficulty sucked and wasn't fun, okay? I had more fun doing this write-up than playing the game. I guess I'll go fucking play Metroid Dread again. I don't get it. It took me 30 hours, and let me say this. I got to Act 3. It requires a bunch of stupid-ass fucking backtracking. Listen to this, okay? I explored so much in Act 2. By the time I got to Act 3, or by the time you have to prep for Act 3. So this is what you have to do. You beat Act 2. You get the standard ending of the game. You beat the final boss, right? The credits roll. You go back in, and if you've done a bunch of obscure requirements, some of them which I had to look up. I was like, I'm done fucking playing this game. I honestly think they're like insanely difficult. It's too obscure if you don't look it up. Like, it's not the kind of like fun, obscure, oh, this is an interesting thing. Again, they don't know what like the good balance is. They don't go, oh, this is like a secret, but it's not too difficult to find, and this is not so hard. They make it so you have to fucking collect everything. To like, it's basically like, oh, if you can't get to Act 3 or you can't finish Act 3 without collecting every fucking thing in the game. It's like, this sucks. Forced completionist blows. But then this is like the part that bothered me even more. When you're going to Act 3, you get a quest that once you finish this quest, it triggers it. You talk to a guy, and this is like all dumb lore shit tied in with it too. But he goes, oh, you need to collect these 4 items. But you just take the fast travel system to each of these 4 people. You get it instantly when you talk to them. You bring it back to him, and he goes, oh, I'm going to go to the final boss and set a trap. And you just fight the final boss again. This is like those stupid fucking quests again. What is the point? You couldn't think of something better than take the fast travel system to Bone Bottom, talk to this guy. Take it to the Weave Nest and find this item. Take it to the area next to Bone Bottom and talk to this guy. Take it to the guy underneath Bellheart and talk to him. That's all you do. Then you go back to the guy, you talk to him again, and you just do all this fucking talking. And then you beat her, and then the world gets taken over by Abyss. And they do another dumb thing. Start of Act 3, I've been using the Wanderer crest for 20 hours. She wakes up, and to make it the thematic thing, you were beat up, and you have like 4 hearts only, or 4 health points. You have the Hunter's crest, and you have no equipment on it. It's an empty Hunter's crest. You don't have tools. You have the basic power up, the basic spell or whatever, and you have no equipment. You don't have the thing that keeps you the compass on your map at all times. You don't have any of your stuff. Nothing. It's just the basic Hunter crest. Okay, so like I'm not even using this. I'm being forced to use it. I have no health. I get into the first fight. I'm not even joking. I'm so used to having Sharp Dash or whatever, where I turn into a silk missile and I split through a bunch of enemies, that I press the button to use it. I throw out my thing because I didn't realize they sent me to the first one. I get fucking punched in the face because I thought I was going to be on the other side of them, and they do 2 hits of damage. I only have 4. I accidentally jump into another guy. I immediately die. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's so poorly made. It's so unfun. It is only made for people who are obsessed with Hollow Knight, which I don't know why they exist because Hollow Knight's not that good. They don't make any improvements on Hollow Knight. They fill the game with bloat. Absolutely. I got to Act 3. I actually couldn't finish. The first time I stopped, I was at this annoying gauntlet. To get to the final boss, you have to get these 3 songs, and to get one of the songs, you have to do a gauntlet in high halls, and it was so boring and annoying to do that I quit. I came back, I said, I have to beat more of this game to be a prolific hater. Let me beat the whole game. I beat the whole game. I said, let me keep going if I can. I get to Act 3. I go through all the abyss. You have to climb out of the abyss, and guess what? You get a thing that's Crystal Dash, but you go up. It's extremely derivative. People get really horny about this stuff. They go, oh, but it's not Crystal Dash. Crystal Dash, he puts crystals on the wall and then he flies left to right. She uses her spear to throw it into the ceiling and use the silk to pull her up, which first of all makes no sense thematically. Second of all, it's the same thing, but you go up. Okay, you can only go up instead of being able to go left and right. It sucks, and you get it so late into the game. Some people might not even get this. It sucks. This is for diehard fans or something. It sucks. All of this sucks. So I do that. I go all the way down the abyss. You get to the bottom of the abyss. She goes, oh, I need an upgrade. And it starts getting like super hand-wavy Deus Ex Machina. You go and talk to the people who gave you the items to set up the trap. And they're like, yeah, we did this on purpose. We turned everything to abyss. Who gives a shit? And she goes, oh, I know of an item that will let me go into the abyss. It's the Everblossom or something like that. Everbloom flower. And they go, oh, it doesn't exist anymore. And she goes, yeah, but I can get it out of my memories. And they go, okay, but you need a ton of power. You have to get items from these 3 people. And there's like new areas you have to unlock or whatever. And I go and start fighting these bosses. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like, I'm bored. I've done a million fetch quests. Like, they hand wave some type of story. It sucks so bad. We'll go, dude, it's like Kingdom Hearts level bullshit at this point. Remember that Everbloom? I'll get a copy of it from my memory. I couldn't give less of a fucking shit, dude. I'm tired. I have to go through all the sections I've been going through. The monsters are the same, but they're like abyss monsters now, so they have new abilities. Who gives a shit? I've already put 30 hours into the game going through all these levels, backtracking a million times. Oh, you know what they also do? They give you an ability to instantly transport to the fast travel location only once you get to Act 3. So otherwise, you have to walk to it the whole time. What the fuck is the point? None of this was thought out. I can't fucking believe it. So if you like Silksong, you're fucking stupid, or you're a diehard Hollow Knight fan for God knows what reason. It is not fun. You cannot rebut me. I dare you to try. This shit is not fun. You either have to play fucking perfectly, which again, I'm going to show you enemies that have bad patterns, that are not fun to fight, glitches, tedious bullshit. It all exists in the game. You can't, no one is, people are so bad at analyzing games. No one online says this. They go online, they see Hornet without her clothes on, they start drawing fucking Rule 34 porn of it. They ask their mom to make them some fucking chicken nuggets. They file for unemployment, and they put 200 hours into a game that is worth 30 hours, and it's got 10 hours of bloat shoved in there somewhere. Honestly, I cannot recommend this game. Hollow Knight's better, and Hollow Knight is not good either. Archaic systems, nothing unique, nothing inventive. They're not pushing anything forward. For some reason, Team Cherry has built up all this goodwill on the back of a game that wasn't very good, and they're getting people to play it. And I think there's some sort of delusion. It's some sort of mass delusion. Everyone bought into it so much, they go, now, this game that I love can't be dog shit. I'll just say it's good anyway. It's like the problem that Dark Souls had, but Dark Souls overcame this problem with amazing level design that no one has ever done before, right? The respawn system that Hollow Knight rips off. Like, they invented all this stuff. But it's like, when you fight Ornstein and Smo in Hollow Knight, or in Dark Souls, that's not fun, right? Like, that boss sucks too. You're not having a good time. And so, like, Hollow Knight just took all that, but there's like other fun parts in Dark Souls. It didn't exist. There's no real fun parts in these games. It's just not fun. It's not a good time. That game that I did a review on recently, the Mobius Machine, legitimately better than these games. Just out of this world. Great identity, unique, charming, super fun, ambitious, cool. These games are like run of the mill. There's nothing unique about any of them. People get like all caught up in the mystique of a game. They like the art style. Oh, it's cutesy. It's my entire personality now. I can't recommend it. I can actually say more negative things about it. Anyway, I did all this to be a more prolific hater. I put dozens of hours in the game. I don't like it. I don't think it's good. I don't think you should play it. Okay? People are talking about game of the year. It's not even the fucking game of the month. Okay? I wouldn't wipe my dirty butthole with Silksong. All right? I'm pissed off. Good night.